Hi, welcome back to the Mars Podcast. This is episode 2. I'm Marshall, your host. Soon we'll take callers or we'll have guests. That'd be great. I'm making this podcast for your entertainment, but it's also to share my feelings, my personal feelings about a lot of things hey man, I hope y'all can identify. I feel like I'm a common person, like I'm a common average person on multiple levels, okay? But we're mostly focused on these first couple episodes on Star Wars. Star Wars, the film, Star Wars, the legacy, the episodes. There are presently 8 episodes at the time of this podcast. The 9th one is being written, I think, or hope. I don't know if it's in production yet or not by JJ. I created this mostly just to bitch about episode 8 because I just hate it so much. It's not that I'm some crazy Star Wars nut or something like that. I've never been to a single science fiction convention unless I was hired to film it, because I'm a videographer and I edit a lot of stuff, and so I see a lot of things in terms of cinematography and editing and producing and casting when I watch movies, and it's actually very difficult for me to watch a movie without immediately considering those things. Like, I wonder how much that actor was, how much did that set cost? And that's the kind of way that I think a lot of movies, and it's hard to not do that. But anyway, I saw Star Wars. I grew up. I was born in 1976. I just remind people of that because to give you a gauge of the childhood type of things that were going on. Episode 4, the original Star Wars, originally just called Star Wars, by the way. Episode 4 was tacked on. So Mr. Lucas, Mr. Jorge, has been working on tampering with these films from the very beginning, and I defend his right to tamper with them. They're his creations. Now, I'm a huge fan of the People versus George Lucas. I've seen that film. Well, it's on pieces in YouTube, so I haven't seen it in completion except once. And that is an incredible film, and I totally agree with like the whole the prequels were just awful, you know. But also, here's a unique perspective with Star Wars fans or non-fans: is that I was one of the people to play the first role-playing game, tabletop role-playing game. Started off with Dungeons and Dragons, which was created in the 70s. And then in the 80s, I think 87, 88, 89, I don't know. They came out with the Star Wars role-playing game, which is tabletop role-playing. This is before role-playing video games. If you said role-playing at this time, had zero to do with video games. It meant tabletop with dice and pieces of paper on, you know. And as you got older, people started to, you know, drink beer and smoke weed at these things. At this time, I didn't do either. I was sober. You know, most would be what? Cheeseburger and a coffee or something like that. Anyway, so we played this. Now, unique perspective here is that in the Star Wars role-playing game book, let me fix this mic. I'm going to try not to cut to show authenticity, but I have to fix this. But this, they issued these books, and in these books, they more or less were allowed, it seems that they were allowed full access to the entire it had to be, to the entire Star Wars everything. Every sketch made on the commode by Ralph McQuarrie as he sat there after lunch, after a hard lunch of pizza and burritos, and he sketched this on the thing. I mean, it seemed like every single blueprint, every single note, everything written about Star Wars, not these books. People say, dude, the books were written after the movie. Star Wars is a movie. It is a movie. It's not. It was never like he wrote the ancient books in the scroll. No, it's just a movie. The books were written later based on the movie. So the movie is paramount, quintessential, omnipotent importance here. And then in these books, they had all the characters, the sketches. That's where they were naming a lot of these alien races for the first time, as far as I know. Either the toy line named them, like the Quarren, or what's those bounty hunters' names and all that? I can't remember right now. Bosk, I think. That wasn't named in Empire. You may use any methods necessary, but I want him alive. No disintegrations. Whatever. That was Boss. You play, look, I play Battlefront right there. You could play as key person. Amazing, dude. I love how authentic Battlefront 1. I play the first one. I play the second one. It's fun. It's all right. A lot of controversy. But the thing is I'm new to first-person shooter games. I haven't played any video games in my life. I've played and beaten the God of War series many times because I love how authentic the Greek mythology. I feel like I get a Greek mythology lesson when I play God of War because you encounter all these beings. Anyway, huge God of War fan, and then I discovered Dishonored, or whatever they say in French. Dishonored. I don't know. I'm trying to learn Cajun French right now. It's my grandparents, parents, and somewhat and grandparents. Language all the way back for hundreds of years. My ancestors here in Louisiana, Cajun French. So I'm trying to pick it up, but it's like Déshonoré or something like that. Anyway, I love the Dishonored. Bought the DLC. I didn't even know what DLC stood for. Like, I'm so new to this shit. Like, I didn't. DLC, downloadable content, and then they released the game, and then they released later downloadable content, which is amazing because it's like you get feedback player feedback, and then they send it, they recreate or they create new things or sequels or add-ons. I think it's great. I love it. Anyway, so what were we talking about? So in these books, every character, everything, we knew that there was a lava planet that Anakin and Obi-Wan were we knew that back in 1992 or whenever I was playing this. We knew that. So the prequels were no surprise. We knew that the Emperor rose, and we thought it was called Coruscant for years when we were dropping out of hyperspace. Hello, Coruscant. Scan the planet. There is no life. But anyway, also a huge Star Trek. I'm only a Star Trek fan of very particular films. Not a Star Trek fan of the other stuff as much. I love the original series. Grew up with that. OT, Gangsta, Captain Kirk, Leonard McCoy, Spock, Bones, all those people. I grew up with that. But you knew even as a kid that the special effects were like off or bad. But you just went along with it because it was just colorful and the music, and it was like, oh, they're in a different planet. Here we are. But anyway, so we had all this information. So I knew all the sketches for all the ships that weren't used that ended up being used in future Star Wars like series, like Clone Wars and all that type stuff, or used in the Timothy Zahn. They came out with new role-playing game material based directly off of the Timothy Zahn trilogy, which, here's my feelings about the Timothy Zahn trilogy. In every way, I enjoyed it, except for the Achilles heel, which basically ruined it for me. These Salamurai, or whatever they're called, with the Force bubbles. Man, that's some midichlorian shit. Don't be putting that shit. No, the Force is all omnipotent. It is everywhere. It is between me, you, the land, the ship, the sea, all living beings. Yoda says it. It is written. It is an Empire Strikes Back. Not only the best Star Wars film ever made, but one of the best, and to me, the best science fiction film of all time in cinema history. And I try to talk from a cinema, a fan of movies, not as a filmmaker and not as a Star Wars fan, just as a fan of movies. I try to keep, so I'm giving you good, strong, honest feedback that isn't biased one way or the other as much as I possibly can. So episode 8, let's talk about episode 8. Clear and obvious flaws. My last podcast talked about a couple of them, but I'm going to mention a few more in detail because I really didn't cover it. What's up with the plans, bruh? Those plans, Holdo she's supposed to be going, has this, but she don't want to share the information. This is a military operation that is representative of, and here's a deeper problem. The deeper problem is you have a galaxy and you have all these alien races and you have billions upon trillions of people in this galaxy, and the Rebel Alliance is now composed of like less than 300 people or whatever it is, and then down to about 100 or whatever it got down to. Like, really, man? Really? That's it? No. They should have had all kind of motherfucking ships dropping out of hyperspace to save the day. I am okay with they're having a slow chase. I'm okay. It didn't make enough sense because you could say, well, just bring on the entire Imperial fleet and all of our TIE fighters and surround them and just blow them to bits. They could have just done that. And so it didn't make sense. But if somehow in a universe where that did make sense, I'm okay with the slow chase in a dramatic storytelling sense. If the rest of the galaxy was represented, you're telling me there's no one in the entire galaxy that's going to come and help these people out, and they're the last ones for peace? They just blew up 5 planets. The Empire, the New Order or whatever, the First Order just blew up 5 planets. That's a lot of people's families, children's, pets, dogs, loved ones, momos, pawpaws, aunts, grand-pères, grand-mères, everybody. Some taunts, nonks. That's like, I'm sure billions of people. And they can't find more people to help them out. Bullshit. That's a plot hole. Like, that's illogical. That is illogical. Fix it. What should have happened is if the slow chase made sense only because so many other ships were dropping out of hyperspace. The entire film of episode 8 should have been one long, like, space battle of Endor kind of thing. Or like except the Rebel Alliance keeps getting small backup ships coming in from all over the galaxy. Think how cool that would have been. The whole time the Empire's like, all right, we'll just release the TIE fighters and destroy them. And all of a sudden, this is Jan Dodonna from Ortega. Or, I'm just making stuff up names. Like, this is the Twi'lek fleet of the blah, blah, blah. And all these aliens. And keep dropping continuously out of hyperspace to help out. And that's what kept the Empire at bay. Maybe they couldn't get to them to refuel. So they did sort of create this small, slow chase, but battle at the same time. A constant, slow-moving battle. But they just can't get to the rebel ships. And eventually, I guess they do. I don't know. But that would have been way cooler. Admiral Akbar, total disservice. First of all you had to do, you didn't have to give him hardly no lines. All you had to do is let Admiral Akbar be the one to suicide fly the ship into the Imperial fleet at the end. Not Holdo, Laura Dern, who did a great job acting, by the way. I hold her not responsible in any way personally. This is the script writing and directing of Rian Johnson. So Admiral Akbar should have been the one who suicide mission. Now that would have been the perfect fulfillment of his character. It's a trap. He would have been known no longer for just it's a trap. He would have been known for that beautiful scene, one of the few good scenes in episode 8. By the way, the acting was great. Everybody did a superb job. Mark Hamill did a great job. Carrie Fisher, everybody, man. As much as I loved Finn, and I was neutral about Poe. I wasn't sure if I liked him or not. I was like okay with him in episode 7. I love Finn. And Ray and those in episode 7. In episode 8, I did not give a shit, son. Like, I don't give a fuck about these characters. Like, they don't give me no reason to give a fuck. None of that shit made sense. And let's be real. I'm not trying to see, like, people having sex or making out in Star Wars necessarily. But there is sexual implications. And, man, Ray and Finn, son, like, that's, like, how it should have went down. Like, they were with all that shit together, and she couldn't stick around with him. Like, he was there, like, helping her and saving, do all kind of shit. Like, they were supposed to hook up. Ray and Finn, interracial, son. Like, hey, I'm cool with the feminist agenda in Star Wars. I'm cool with that. Like, let it ride. My criticism, like I said in my last podcast, is that it isn't feminist enough, because none of these aliens or very few of these aliens are represented anymore in Star Wars, starting with Rogue One. And Rogue One is my favorite outside of the original trilogy, but it's also a criticism of Episode 8 as well, is that where's your feminist alien heroes? All these aliens, look how humanist and racist in the humanist racist way that these people must be on Coruscant, must be like horribly racist place. Like they must hate aliens. There's no aliens in the Empire unless they hire them out as their bounty hunters to go on these suicide missions. But everybody did a great job acting. And yes, I didn't even know what Mary Sue meant until watching these Star Wars Episode 8 hate videos, is that I didn't even know what that was. So apparently it means something like a character who has been given great power for no reason or something like that. That's exactly what Rey is. That's the problem with her. That's the only problem with her character is you have to earn shit, man. You got to earn shit. Luke started off as a farmer, a farmer's son. I keep hearing the dog and the cat. Let's go see what they're doing. Oh, Tisha. Look, little Bernie Gerard, that's his name. He's from Picayune, Mississippi, and he usually acts like it, which is good, because he's a little southern respectable dog, a little southern man. And I love my Star Wars people, and I watch Jeremy with Geeks and Gamers probably like 3 times a week or something, because I just can't get over how bad Episode 8 was, that was allowed to be filmed. It so bad. I'm so floored, because it really, what it means is that the Skywalker saga, the episodic series part of this, is over in a spiritual way. Like it's now been consumed into I don't know. I just, it's so many levels of horrible croit, as they say in Louisiana, croit. I can't. I think that it's now, this is dead. I don't think it'll be fixed in Episode 9, because JJ is already defending Episode 8. I don't think there's much hope for the galaxy. Now, there is hope in these other films, like this Solo film might be outstanding. I don't know. It looks good to me. I'm open and hoping, baby. But just remember to respect Kathleen Kennedy, y'all. Like, don't trash her. I admit I was disappointed she allowed this to happen. It's a F up on her part, but overall, she's had an amazing career and has brought us some of the greatest films of all time. So y'all shut up about dogging her. Like, leave her alone. She's done a lot of great things for cinema. And I'm okay with Floating Leia. I loved it. I was almost teared up a little bit. I was so happy to see her finally use the Force. Anyway, so that's it for Episode 2. We're going to talk about some political and historical stuff in society in Episode 3 next time. Catch me. I don't care if you subscribe or if whatever you like. I'm not going to tell you that. I mean, I want to share my opinion and I want to share stuff with people, but I'm not about like doing stuff to get subscribers or whatever. I'm just putting it out there. This is my feelings. I'm a human being, and hopefully we can connect similar feelings and make the world a better place. Peace out. Au revoir.